self-righteous and rude. I guess I lost that cool. Tapping till I drive you insane. I'm self-righteous but never right. So laid back but so uptight. Destroying your patience.
Sebadoh are an American indie rock band. They were formed in 1986 and they're still going. They're credited with being one of the influences in lo-fi music, sometimes crossed over with slacker music, as is described. They've had a mostly stable lineup, apart from coming and going of drummers, but the only person who's actually been with them the whole time is Lou Barlow, who was ex of Dinosaur Jr. He got kicked out of Dinosaur Jr. at one point. This Sebadoh started as a kind of side project for him. Then it became a main project when he was kicked out of Dinosaur Jr. And then he rejoined Dinosaur Jr. in 2005, but obviously kept going with Sebadoh. Their first album came out in 1989. And their ninth album came out in 2019. Hi, my name's Dan. This is the third album by Sebadoh, and it's my first encounter with them in any sense. So I'm going to obviously try and start with some description. So it's a meandering album. There's 23 tracks. Mostly they're quite short, apart from the last one, and the whole album's over an hour long, and most of the tracks are lo-fi to some extent. So it was recorded on a very small budget, and you can tell. All three of the members who were in the band at the time wrote songs. Lou Barlow, who's kind of the lead guy, wrote most, kind of the lion's share, but the others have a decent presence in here. Some of the songs are kind of folky acoustic, some of them are kind of indie rockish, some of them are kind of drony shoegaze, and some bits are kind of, I'm going to describe as garage metal. And I think these are the ones that the guy Gaffney wrote particularly, which tends to have shouty growl and sometimes heavy guitar. There are other bits in some of the tracks. There's the shouty growl that sounds kind of metallic, but doesn't have the same kind of musical backing to it. It varies in recording and playing quality to kind of acceptable, maybe to things that you might think of as a demo rather than a proper, releasable recording. The one that I played at the beginning of the video probably is one of the best in terms of the recording, and then that varies all the way to stuff that is just abominably recorded, with bad tuning, bad timing. There's one part where they're almost a beat out with each other in one of the songs. The singing can be quite out, and the playing can be quite, hitting the notes wrong, stuff isn't working together. Oh my goodness. So it's kind of, for me, it's challenging because that's the sort of thing I really don't like. If you like The Residents and other bands so I'm aware that I don't like this thing of rejecting the idea that you have to have skill for recording music. And to my mind, The Residents were kind of maybe forerunners of most of the bands who actually went down this route. So if you like The Residents, you might like this. If you like other stuff that is very kind of raw in terms of its approach to, the opposite of skill, whatever that is, then you might like this. It's less musically weird than The Residents, I have to say. And maybe some of the metal bits get fairly odd. Some critics loved it. And it's fairly obvious I didn't. I would say the best thing in here, the thing that kind of kept me going really, was the lyrics. So some of them are fairly banal, but mostly they're more interesting than average. Some of them, there's one point it gets very darkly disturbing right towards the end. Gaffney's metal stuff is mostly kind of rooted in the kind of metal religion stuff, so about God and but not God, and other things, and eternity, and kind of fantasy religion, you might say. There are, I guess, I'd say there's some halfway decent songs in terms of the songwriting, but otherwise, I'm kind of asking myself what sets it apart from badly recorded bedroom recordings by 14-year-old boys. And actually, I've heard some stuff bedroom recorded by 14-year-old boys that's better than this. So I have to kind of clarify. In some ways, it's the lo-fi and the low skill together that makes it stuff that I don't like. I have to say I have heard some stuff that is lo-fi that I actually like. So it's not just the fact that it's badly recorded. I think it's the fact that it's kind of so loose on the playing scale. So, and with all that, I also think as an album as a whole, it's not very coherent. It's kind of a mess, really. So, obviously, I don't like it. But if you do, I'd love to know what it is that you like about it. Why is this? Why am I wrong? Or do you agree with me? Or maybe you don't know it. Maybe you're going to have your first listen and then you're going to let me know. I always love hearing from people. I love it when people disagree with me, especially. And that's it from me for now.
Spoiled children.